Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Randy. I've been an audio engineer for 16 years full time. I work with a lot of artists that are trying to get their music out there. One of the biggest issues that I see when it comes to being able to come up with a ton of content. If you guys don't know, you need to be a content creator first. This means that as a musician, you chose music as your art, as your passion, your love for creation. But when it comes to wanting to get that music out there, get it heard, starting to build momentum and things like that, people run into a lot of problems when it comes to being able to create that much content. And I wanted to talk about this today because I slipped up on this last video that I made a couple days ago. I've been saying for almost 6 months now that I want to make 2 to 3 videos a week consistently without messing up for at least a year. And I broke that. I failed. It took me a little over a week to get my last video out when I was supposed to have at least 2 more videos, including that one. So what went wrong? How does this relate to you as a musician? Where did you go wrong? Who knows? I know. Let's find out. I want to talk about my example first, and then we'll discuss how this can relate to you and how to help fix it. As an audio engineer, every day I go to the studio, and I work in a very nice environment to create. All the wires are tucked away. We have templates that are set up that route everything perfectly. We test everything rigorously to make sure that things work as they are intended to work. So if somebody wants to pick up a guitar, easy to plug in, and we have a system for that. If people want 4 microphones on something, we've figured that out. It goes much deeper than that, but I'll just use that for now as an example. It feels great to go work at a place that has their shit together, a place where I live most of my life at. At the end of the day, I've spent so much effort in the studio. I get home and I don't want to spend an insane amount of effort to get things set up. My whole goal as a creator has been to be able to do this consistently for a long time. I know for a fact that that is the only way that you are going to become successful, besides like maybe becoming a one-hit wonder and being able to retire off of one piece of content or something, but that doesn't happen very often, not often enough. So here I am coming home, trying to create a lot of content, trying to incrementally build up into becoming better at creating content. And there's a huge problem with this kind of mentality. One thing that's great is you get a lot of content out. But the thing that sucks is there are a lot of shortcuts that I have to take to make sure that that happens. Things don't get set up right. Things are not very consistent. They're changing all the time. Sometimes my MIDI keyboard doesn't work. Sometimes I forget to charge the batteries on the microphones on this little lav mic that I've got in my shirt. This last video that I released, I ran into every single possible problem that you could think of. I won't go into too much detail about how this actually works, maybe not in this video, but when I'm editing this video and I need to switch to something on the screen, I have to record the screenshot video and I have to record myself on this camera. And I don't have a good system fully set up yet to where things work smoothly with that. So I have to edit things in post, meaning I go into CapCut or Premiere, whatever video editor you use. I have to struggle putting all these little pieces together. This last video took me so long because I didn't have a system in place that worked really well and was very efficient. So everything takes time. That's not what I'm used to working at a professional studio. But here I am. I get done with sessions for the day. I come home, say hi to my wife, immediately come in here and start trying to record a video. It's easy to want to get things done when you're constantly moving, constantly working on stuff. But it's insanely important, okay? Insanely important that we spend time, extra time, on getting our setup working right. Making sure the templates that we build work. Making sure the camera works as intended. Spending a ton of time doing test shots, making sure that the lighting is right, making sure you know how to use the lighting, making sure that the camera settings are right. If you're talking about making music, I was struggling with that too, because I have an old version of a template that doesn't quite work with my new setup. Meaning, if I want to just open up a new session so that way I could record this microphone right here, I have to change a bunch of stuff before I hit record. And I might forget. In my last video, I had a bass line that I made that was routed out the wrong direction into nothingness, so you couldn't hear it. I had to export that out, bring it into my video editing program, and line it up to where it was supposed to go so you could actually hear it, which took a bunch of extra time. That was just one of the million things that happened. Because of that, it took an insane amount of time to edit, to produce, to get on to the next video. I really don't want to skip steps, but I do want to create a lot of content. So what do? Well, unfortunately, that means I spend time on my setup. I spend a lot of time on my setup. There's research and development that is needed to happen. And this is where the boring stuff really cuts a lot of people off and keeps people in that amateur hour range. You have a cell phone and there are a ton of settings on that cell phone for your camera. And if you don't know how to set those settings, then you're going to potentially make a ton of low quality looking content. In a sea of content creators that are trying to promote themselves constantly, they are going to have you beat on the amount of content that they make. They're probably going to have you beat on the quality of that content. So it's really important to spend that time understanding what camera settings are. You know, you have your exposure triangle, your ISO, your shutter speed, your f-stop, all of the different other settings around that, your recording quality, how to edit video in a way that doesn't severely degrade your quality. Because if you don't realize this, if you don't get the settings right, you export your video out after you edit it and it looks terrible. This is a very common issue with almost everybody I come across in the music business. And I even fall victim to it at home because I have the luxury of being at home and relaxing away from it. I could just skip a couple steps and get another video out, get another bunch of videos out. But in the background, I'm neglecting how much better my life would be if things were set up properly. I have this MIDI keyboard right here, which is the MPK49 from way back in the day. I've had it forever. And I've been having problems with it connecting to Pro Tools. So every single time I open up Pro Tools, it doesn't work. I have to restart Pro Tools. I have to unplug it and plug the MIDI controller back in. And it's a pain. I need to go through and set up my template so it's a blank canvas that works really well, has everything set up the way that I need it for my setup and everything that I potentially want to do. When I'm making music, as soon as I think of that idea, I want to be able to put it down. I don't like disruptions in the workflow. And every time that I'm working at home, I'm like, man, it's so much better at the studio. That's because we've thought of everything. That's because we spent the time to make sure that it's done right. So it's really easy to just create. It's really hard to wrap your mind around what it's like to be a content creator if you're somebody who's in the process of making music and just releasing it. It's a completely different world. You have to be able to create a constant stream of content and also improve on that content over time. You have to be able to create batches of content, analyze the analytics of that content, see what you like doing, see what you don't like doing, and then reset for the next phase. So if you're tripping over your setup and your process, then you're going to spend an insane amount of time extra for no reason. Spend time on your setup getting it right. If you don't know your synthesizer, spend time before you start making music just messing around with it, seeing exactly what every single knob does and what it sounds like. Right now I'm recording HDMI out into my computer, into OBS, which is a free piece of software, which I highly recommend everybody has. And I'm trying to see if I can record this a lot easier versus having to take the video and then transfer it to the computer. But that doesn't seem like a ton of time, right? Like, you just transfer it and that's not that big of a deal. But the problem is that every single time that you do a video, adding 20 minutes transferring big files and getting things set up right is a huge problem. It adds up. That's just one aspect of this too. What about color grading? I'm also trying out how to get the colors to look right in camera so that way I don't have to do as much down the line. My goal is to make this a mini content creation hub. So I need to be able to do webcam stuff, like doing Zoom conversations and capturing it, which is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, but I haven't spent time setting it up. So those are styles of videos that I have not even started yet. I want to start going live. I want to do YouTube live stuff and actually engage with you guys in real time. Right now, I'm only stuck doing things a certain way unless it takes an insane amount of time. So my goal is to spend a little bit more time in the next coming weeks fine-tuning my setup, redoing my template, getting my routing set up for shooting live so I don't even have to think about it and everything just happens to work. How does this apply to you if you're somebody who doesn't want to sit at your computer and make content? This translates to everything. So this could be if you're trying to shoot, let's just say you have a new song coming out and you want to shoot a bunch of videos. I see people come out with like maybe 1, 2, 3 videos for a single release and then they stop. You need a lot more than that. And why do people get extremely frustrated and feel like this is like the biggest pain in the ass to make all this stuff? It's because they don't have their stuff together. You can easily get 10 videos for your single done in one day. Maybe not so easy, but it's possible. And in the beginning, of course, it's hard. Of course, you don't have things set up right. But if you spend time coming up with a system that works for you specifically, it has to be custom to you. It's not just something that works for me, so it has to work for you. No, it's got to be custom to you and what your goals are. Once you do that, you can test the system. Now you could run a couple months doing this, seeing how things work and doing some tidy up stuff to your system. What I see people do is basically start from zero every single time. So it makes it really hard to start and then stop, and then have to restart and then stop, and then restart and then stop. The process, that is. If you're coming up with a project that you want to release, you know that you're going to be promoting this project for a year. How are you possibly going to be able to come up with the amount of content that you need to come up with? I see some people do it, but most people don't. Of course, this isn't always easy, but we are all just trying to get better. When I started making content last year, I was more concerned about getting stuff done than anything. And I'm glad that I got that part started. But for the amount of time that I've spent making content, I could have gotten so much more out of it. I could have made it so much easier on myself if I had a system set up to begin with. I know that when people begin, they don't really know what the system should be or how it works. All you got to do is start thinking about the types of things that you want to do and then research the ways to make those things happen. You want to make 20 TikToks for your newest single? Well, research how to make that happen. Open up a spreadsheet. I tell people to make spreadsheets all the time. You could create 20 content ideas sitting down for like 10 minutes. Make them in a way where you can create those with the means that you have. If it's just a cell phone, if it's just a webcam, figure out a way to make it work for you. Spend time not creating, but building that system so that way when you do create, all it is you go out and you make that stuff happen. If not, it's going to be a huge pain every single time, and you're constantly going to be feeling like you're behind trying to catch up, like how I did on this last video. I spent a bunch of time on that video, not because it was such a great video or anything, but just because of the mess ups that I had and the issues that I ignored for all this time. So I'm going to try to change that. I'm going to try to improve on that, and I hope you guys do the same. If you guys like this content, comment down below. The only way I know that you guys like this or if I should make more of this type of stuff is if you engage with me, like the video, share it with your grandmother or something. I don't know. Talk to you later.